Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Daily Dose. Today is Monday, January 30th. So we saw our first red candle in 7 days. We had 6 straight days where the market closed higher than where it had opened. Even though we did have days where the market closed lower than where it closed the day before, we had 6 straight days where the market opened and it closed higher than where it opened. And today we were down. The S&P 500 was down 1.3%, and it closed at 4,017, so still above the 4,000 level, still above the trend line, and still above the 200-day moving average. And when I'm looking at the S&P 500 right now from a technical standpoint, I now look at this 4,000 level as support. I would even go as far down as the 39.86 as a support level, and then obviously your trend line and the 200-day moving average will now act as support. However, you have to keep in mind that there are two really big things happening this week, and the first is that we will be hearing from the Fed tomorrow and Wednesday, and Jerome Powell will speak at the end of the day on Wednesday regarding the central bank's plans for the rest of the year when it comes to rate hikes. And that will most likely have a really big impact on the markets, as it always does when Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks. And then the second really important thing this week is that after the bell on Thursday, I believe, I'm about to double check, but we do have Amazon reporting, Alphabet reporting, and Apple, and that is after the bell on Thursday. Those will be huge earnings. Those three companies take up a large portion of the S&P 500, and so that will sway the markets depending on how those earning calls go. And those will be something to watch as well, especially after Jerome Powell speaks on Wednesday. So that's what I'm looking at on the S&P 500 as of right now. And we did actually come all the way up to our zone up here, the 4100, that we rejected twice off of earlier back in December. And that is where we started to sell off and continued into today. So Bitcoin followed suit with the S&P 500. Right now, Bitcoin is below 23,000. It's at 22,791. And so we did sell back off right back into this little zone right here. You can see we kind of have a little bit of support where it's been consolidating. Bitcoin's kind of in the middle of no man's land right now. I do think it will take a lot for it to get through this 25,000 level, but after we get through the 25,000, I'd be eyeing the 28 and the 30 if that does happen. And then to the downside, similar to the S&P 500, now the 20,000 on Bitcoin will act as support, as it was previously a pretty big resistance, but we've since broken through there. So again, the moves today themselves aren't bearish. I mean, it's healthy to have a little pullback after big rallies like this, but really the big problem's going to come from the Fed on Tuesday and Wednesday. They could send the markets right back down depending on what they say their plans are for the rest of the year. Obviously, their rhetoric so far has been that, or their rhetoric so far has been that they're not going to pivot this year, that there are going to be no rate cuts this year, that they're going to keep hiking rates and then hold them there. I think anything other than that will send the markets kind of into like a bullish frenzy, and I don't think that they want that. So even if their plans are to be a little bit more careful than what it seemed, I just don't really see them coming out and saying that right now, because I don't think it's in their best interest if the markets rally a lot from here. I think that'll only continue to cause problems with inflation, and that's the last thing that they want right now. So I do think it's in their best interest to send the markets lower as opposed to sending them higher, just at this point in time. And so I would not be surprised if we do get some sort of flash crash and we break back below that trend line and we break back below the 200-day moving average, which is why I've kept both of those on the chart. But we'll just have to stay tuned for that. So be sure to stay tuned here on the channel, subscribe on YouTube, and follow wherever you listen to podcasts. I'll be uploading episodes right after the bell on both of those days, Tuesday and Wednesday. And I really do appreciate everybody listening to today's episode. And until tomorrow, thank you for listening.